Hello, it is Jack Gill and welcome to Anfield Agenda. This is the team news reaction live before Liverpool play Tottenham Hotspur away from home. Of course, it's a big night, made even bigger, obviously, by that Manchester United result last night, losing 2-1 to Sheffield United. It's a massive night for Liverpool. You know, we can't lie, we can't hide behind recent poor form. We just need to make sure that we improve upon it, and it starts tonight. You know, we've got a difficult run now in the next few weeks, and obviously Champions League fixtures coming up with our RB Leipzig over 2 legs. But let's try and turn around this poor form tonight. So hello to everyone in the comments. Make sure you put what you predict the team to be in there, as well as possible score predictions for this evening. Before I go into this, I just want to shout out Boyle Sports, who are the sponsors for this video. Check them out. Their link is in the description if you fancy a quick bet on tonight. And there you go. Before the team news comes out, it'll be out in about 14 minutes at 7 o'clock ish. Big rumours on Twitter this afternoon that Fabinho may be injured. Now, I don't know where this is coming from. I've seen the photos from training, and I believe it's because he's not in that picture. How anyone can accurately say that he is definitely not in that picture, I do not know. I've seen the second picture as well, where it looks like he's sat out of that. So it may have just been as a precaution. We know how important Fabinho is at the moment. It doesn't look like we're going to go into the market to get a centre-half. And therefore, Fabinho and Henderson and Matip are even more important now. So, let me know in the comments what you think. Will Fabinho play? Will he not? What will be the centre-back partnership if he doesn't play? Obviously, we know that Joel Matip is back and available for this. Henderson as well. Klopp confirmed that in his press conference in midweek. Let's go to some of the predictions now. A lot of people asking where Craig is tonight. Craig will be on at 7:30. He will be doing the game live. I'm just here for the team news. Liverpool Corey says 2-0 Liverpool tonight. I really hope so. Personally, I see it as a score draw. I think 1-1 personally. But I think tonight is really important, and it's pivotal that we get a win tonight. As I said, that United game yesterday should give us a huge kick up the arse and make us go, you know what, we're not out of this. We're just in a bit of a poor run, and we need to kick out of it pretty quickly, because City are looking very good. I don't know if any of you were able to watch them against West Brom on Tuesday night, but they were very good. Stephen Somerville says, good to see you, Jack, not just on Redmen but on Anfield Agenda. Look forward to these starting 11s for the channel in the future. Thank you, Stephen. Obviously I do some work on Redmen Academy as well, so if you can go and check that out, it's all about the youth football and stuff, so make sure you do. But I'm helping Craig out on here and stuff as well, just like I do with Ross and the lads at Redmen. Let's head more into the comments. Some person clearly doesn't know football. Bertie Badham says 4-0 to Spurs. Heard it here first. We'll move on from that one. A couple of 1-0 Liverpools. We got Jay Hunt saying 1-0, and Nassim Akhtar also thinking that it might be 1-0. Unknown J13 with a predicted lineup says Alisson, Robbo, Trent, Fabinho, Matip, Thiago, Henderson, Gini, Mo, Sadio and Bobby. I think that would be everyone's first choice. I think everyone's worry is whether Fabinho is fit or not, whether Matip and Henderson are 100% too. I think if everyone is fit in that lineup, I'm almost sure that will be the lineup that Klopp goes for tonight. Fabian869 says 2-1 to Liverpool, Matip and Mane to score. Liam Barry says 2-1 to Liverpool. Kristen Collins says 2-2. And tell you, I spoke to Craig before we came on this, and he also agreed. He thought it would be 2-2-2. Reyes Harrupt says 2-0 Liverpool. John Rankin Smith also says 2-0 Liverpool and simply says, we are back. I certainly hope so, John. It'll be, massive win tonight. If we can win this, beat West Ham at the weekend, who obviously West Ham is going to be a difficult task. We struggle past them at Anfield. Jota had to come off the bench and work his magic to, help us late on there. Shaqiri with that beautiful pass through to him for the winner. it will be a difficult task, that too. So, I think it's important to get through tonight and make sure we get the 3 points tonight, but also not underestimate West Ham. Obviously, going into this game, they're above us. Yes, we have a game in hand, but currently they're above us. So, it's a big game both tonight and Sunday. We're going into a difficult run now, and let's turn this run of form into a good run of form, and let's start picking up points. But you know what, with this Liverpool side, these big games like tonight are the ones where they usually rise to the occasion, and I wouldn't put it past them doing the same tonight. We saw, obviously, just a few weeks ago now, just before Christmas, Liverpool versus Spurs, that late Bobby Firmino winner. I think, it was obvious that we were the better side on the day. Tottenham did cause us problems on the counter-attack. Their goal, I think, Heung-min Son, it was a lovely finish. But we were the better side on the day, and we absolutely deserved that winner. I know Jose Mourinho did his famous line that the best team lost, but he's an arsehole and doesn't know what he's talking about, because I think it was obvious. You saw from the stats, you saw from just watching the game and being a football fan, who was the better side on the day. So there we have it. And obviously Bobby Firmino rising with that late header. Connor Crosby says, obviously West Ham are flying lately. We have a very, very tough run of games. We absolutely do, Connor. They're coming thick and fast. It's great to see football on the telly every day recently. I know in February it's calming down a bit. I think we've only got 4 league games, but yeah, it's going to be a tough task at the weekend as well. So I think it starts tonight. We turn our run of form around tonight. We pick up 3 points, and we take every game as it comes, and hopefully somewhere along the way City will start dropping points. But what we need to start doing is what we did last season, where we're picking up 3 points after 3 points after 3 points, and finding ways to just win games like United have all season, to be fair to them. Kristen Collin says, do you think Curtis will play today? I hope so. It's an interesting one. I saw Ian Doyle tweeted a few weeks ago, during the week, that obviously our poor run of form has come as Curtis Jones no longer is starting for us, and do they think it's got something to do with it? So for me, no. I think, there are lots of reasons why Liverpool aren't performing as we have been so far, in the last few weeks. Curtis Jones may be one of them, but, I don't think it's a sole reason. I wouldn't be surprised to see him in the side tonight, but for me, it will be that midfield of Henderson, Gini and Thiago. And I think Henderson will be in that 6, and Thiago will see him in a bit more of an advanced role tonight. RSH14 says, when do the lineups come out? They'll be out in about 8 minutes, mate. 7 o'clock. Kickoff is at 8 o'clock, of course. Yep. Let me know. As I said before, let me know score predictions if you've just tuned in. What do you think will be the score tonight? Can you see Liverpool turning around this poor run of form? Danny9541 says, big game this, lads, praying for a win. Absolutely, aren't we all? Celio Blue says, when do you think Jota will be back? This is an interesting one. I read an article this morning actually saying that initially when Jota got injured, we feared the worst, and we feared that Jota may be out for the rest of the season. We know a few weeks ago, I think it was just after Christmas, Klopp said that he's still in the knee brace, and I think he won't be rushed back, that's for sure. We won't want him to get injured again. I wouldn't be surprised if we see him come back sort of the middle of February, in a couple of weeks or so. But yeah, it's an interesting one, because I think that's another thing. I think we've really missed Jota in recent weeks. Someone to put pressure on the front three when it's not working, someone to switch it up slightly. And I think Shaqiri has looked good when he's got game time, but we've really been missing Jota, and it'll be interesting to see what we do in the summer, whether we bring in another forward to put pressure on Mo, Bobby and Sadio, of course, or if one of them will move on. But yeah, hopefully we keep all 3 and still make a marquee signing. Mini CP says, really want to see Thiago allowed to go forward more. 2-1 Liverpool again. I think this is a really interesting subject of conversation, because obviously we've seen Thiago come in, saw him come off the bench against Chelsea and start against Everton, 2 games which we were immense, and he looked outstanding in. And since he's come back from his injury, he's still looked outstanding, but he's been restricted in his role, really. He's been playing in the 6, and I think a lot of people are saying, look, just play him further forwards, and play him in that 8 position. But, we've not really had a choice with who we've had to play in recent games. Obviously, we've been playing Henderson and Fabinho as our back 2, so it's a difficult one. But I think tonight, should Hendo, Fabinho and Matip all be fit, I think tonight's the night where we see Thiago play in that slightly more advanced role again, and hopefully he is the cheat code for tonight's game. Callum LFC says hopefully Jota is back for the UCL tie against Leipzig. I think that will probably be the plan. People asking when I think Van Dijk will be back. It's a difficult one. I think on an injury like that, nobody knows. I think the positive signs for us all is to see how quickly he seems to be recovering and how hard he's working on the training ground and in the gym. And the fact that obviously just a couple of months after the injury, he posted a video of him kicking a ball again, which I thought was absolutely outstanding. But, I don't think we should expect to see him before the end of the season. If we see him, it's a bonus and we're boosted by that. But I think as fans, we should be prepared to not see Van Dijk until 2021-22 season. Hopefully the Netherlands don't risk him and take him to the Euros and that we can have him back fresh, ready for next season and ready to go and ready to win the title again. Liam Barry says, by the way, there is a new MacBook in the Anfield Agenda House. Yep, Craig is absolutely loving that new MacBook, and I'm sure he'll be telling you all about it later. A Cryptic says, what about Taki? And I'll answer that simply by asking you the same question. I have no Scooby-Doo what is going on with Takumi Minamino. It's an interesting one because he's done nothing wrong. He's not put a foot wrong. He's so diverse. He came in, we got him on the cheap. And every time we see him play, he looks decent. But, he keeps getting overlooked, doesn't he? It happened again at the weekend against Manchester United in the Cup. And something's clearly not going right for him. I don't know whether Klopp feels he hasn't adapted physically enough yet or what. But yeah, it's a weird one because it's not even like, oh, you have to put him on in a specific position. You could put him on the left, on the right. You could swap him for Bobby. You could play him in central midfield. Taki is so diverse. He could play in any of those positions. So it really does confuse me why he's getting nowhere near the pitch at the minute. But hopefully we see him tonight at some point. Are we home or what kit are we wearing, please? I believe we should be wearing the home one. Of course, we're away from home, but Tottenham wear white. I don't see an issue with us wearing the red kit tonight. Joel Play says, do you think Shaqiri will start? I don't. I said the team obviously at the start. I think it will be Alisson in goal, and should Fabinho be fit, I think it'll be him and Henderson as the centre-back partnership. I think it'll be Trent on the right, Robert on the left. Did I say Fabinho and Matip at the back? Yeah. Henderson in the 6, Thiago and Wijnaldum in the 8, and then obviously the famous front three that we all love. Tainish Aurora says Matip is fit, but Fabinho is injured. Remember, this is just a rumour so far until we get the team news at 7 o'clock. We don't know for sure. I'm seeing rumours that Milner is starting in central midfield as well. I don't know how true this is. There's a rumoured team going around. Matip apparently is starting. So yeah, it's an interesting one. We'll soon see, and we'll soon be able to talk about the Fabinho situation. It's just a rumour right now, but remember, in 3 minutes' time, we will know for sure whether or not we will see Fabinho starting or even in the squad. His Callum LFC saying Fabinho hasn't been spotted walking into the Spurs ground. That's according to Ian Doyle. Yeah, it doesn't look good. Obviously, we saw from the pictures earlier, people with eagle eyes saying Fabinho's not there. Someone else spotted him, sat on the bench, sitting it out. It was our biggest fear, let's be honest. I've been saying for weeks, look, we're a Fabinho injury or COVID case away from an absolute nightmare, and Liverpool not going into the transfer market for a centre-back during January has made me think that the title isn't possible this year. But who knows? As I say, we've seen in this topsy-turvy season that anything could happen, and I think it starts tonight. Bad news, obviously, if Fabinho isn't available, but we've got Matip back, we've got that boost, and I'd assume if that's the case, it would be Henderson alongside him. But saying that, we saw how well Reece Williams coped with Kane when the two sides played against each other at Anfield. So will we opt to go for him again this evening? We're 1 minute away from tonight's team news, so I'm looking forward to seeing this. Remember to keep spamming the chat with what you think the score will be tonight. As I say, a big miss if Fabinho isn't available tonight, but let's wait for this team news to find out what is occurring. It won't be long now. Yeah, it's an interesting one because Phillips obviously wasn't the best at the weekend, but he performed really, really well with Harry Kane in the last game when we beat them 2-1. So yeah, it may be that Klopp goes for Reece Williams again tonight, but I can see it being Henderson and Matip should Fabinho not be available. Jordan says, yay, we have Matip back. He's 1 game out of 5. Yeah, probably. It's an interesting one with Matip at the minute, isn't it? It seems like every time he's back, it's a game and then he's out injured again. So hopefully now, if Fabinho's injured, we can see a bit of a run for him. Now the team news is out. Emma Sanders has posted the team news, the official team sheet here. Alisson in goal, back 4 of Andy Robertson, Trent Alexander-Arnold, Joel Matip, and what looks to me like Jordan Henderson. A midfield 3 of Thiago, James Milner, and Jorginho Wijnaldum, and then Sadio Mane, Mohamed Salah, and of course Roberto Firmino. Interesting Liverpool lineup. I can confirm now that Fabinho is not in the squad. So it does look like a bit of an injury there. Hopefully we'll know sooner rather than later what the injury is, what the problem is for Fabinho. Yeah, these injury problems keep occurring, don't they? And it makes you bang your head against the wall and think, why haven't we gone into the transfer market to sign a centre-back this window? But I feel like only FSG and Klopp know that. As fans, it seems pretty obvious to us that we should have gone into the market and bought someone in January. But hey-ho, the Tottenham side I've got here, Hugo Lloris starting in goal, Doherty, Joe Rodon, Eric Dyer, Serge Aurier, Ben Davis, Ndombele, Højbjerg, Son Heung-min, Harry Kane, and Steven Bergwijn. So yeah, it looks like maybe a 5 at the back for them tonight. Is that right? Or is Eric Dyer playing in midfield? An interesting one. Let us know what you think of that there. But yeah, let me know in the comments what you think of the starting lineup this evening. So I'll go straight into Gareth, who says we should have started Jones. There's a lot of people saying this. It's an interesting one. I think another interesting thing is a lot of journalists who were in the stadium in the last couple of weeks said that, especially against Burnley, it was very quiet on the pitch when we weren't playing Henderson and Milner. And actually, maybe that's why we've started both tonight. Maybe Klopp thinks we need a bit of leadership in there, and that, you know, this is a very, very important game. We need the 3 points tonight, and playing Hendo and Milner, you know, I would bite anyone's hand off for a 1-0 win tonight. You know, a boring, drab, first-minute goal. It's completely shithouse the 1-0 win and play Mourinho at his own game. Joanne Fisher wants me to repeat the lineup. It is Alisson in goal, Trent at right back, Robertson at left back, Henderson and Matip as the centre-back partnership, Thiago, Jorginho Wijnaldum, and James Milner, and then, of course, Sadio Mane, Roberto Firmino, and Mohamed Salah. A minor muscle issue was reported for Fabinho, according to Mini CP. A lot of people disappointed at no Fabinho tonight. But, you know, we've got that boost. Hendo and Joel Matip are both back from injury, and they are our centre-back partnership tonight. We've got a bit of a prediction from Bernadette Farrell, who says, Jose will park the bus. I think we should let Mo, Sadio and Bobby do their thing on breakaway counter-attacks. I assume that means Thiago, maybe? I don't know. But it's an interesting one. I don't know whether we'll see Gini in the 6 tonight and Thiago being allowed a bit more further forwards, maybe Milner in the 6, or whether we'll see Thiago continuing in that 6 tonight. A lot of people complaining about the lag in the chat. I apologise. I don't know what's going on there. Hopefully it'll be sorted as soon as possible. Hani Mahmood is optimistic about tonight, an 11-0 win. He is predicting, I'll be interested to know who he's predicting to be on the score sheet this evening. Elliot Croucher simply saying, why is Oxlade-Chamberlain not starting? A lot of people questioning the midfield choices tonight. Some people wanted Curtis Jones in, some people wanted Ox in. Elliot, I think since he's returned from his injury, Ox has been pretty poor, if I'm honest with you. And I think, whether he needs regular game time or what, I don't think it was right to put him in at the minute. I think there's people ahead of him in the pecking order right now, and maybe we'll see him from the bench in the latter stages of the game, and he'll get his opportunity then. But I think for me, if one of these three in midfield weren't starting tonight, I'd have said start Curtis Jones, because I think the form he was in before the West Brom game, where of course we drew, was absolutely phenomenal, and he was looking class. So if I replaced anyone tonight, I'd have probably put Curtis Jones in ahead of Milner. But as I said, that leadership factor might be the reason. Yeah, a lot of people still very annoyed by the Fabinho injury. I think that's going to be a common thing. I am very much too. It's one of them things, a minor muscle injury. I think it's probably him not in the squad as a precaution. As I said at the start of this show, the games are coming thick and fast, and therefore, we need to be careful with stuff like that. Discarded Ant 58 says, when will Minamino get his chance? Now, this is an interesting subject. We spoke about this on the Anfield Agenda podcast last week. Make sure you head over to Spotify, iTunes, all of them to listen to that. We spoke about when will Minamino get his chance, and as I said earlier on, I honestly don't know what is going on with Minamino, and I think your guess is as good as mine. I don't know whether it's a physical thing. I certainly don't think it's an ability thing, because he's looked good every time he's got on the pitch for Liverpool. He's not done anything out of line or wrong, and as I said earlier, he's diverse. You can play in any position. You can bring him off the bench pretty much anywhere in the midfield, bar the six, of course, or anywhere in that front line. So it's an interesting one. Let me know in the comments why you think that we're not seeing much of Minamino at the minute. Fabinho is injured, to any more people coming in. Yeah, I think a lot of people are only just realising that Fab is injured. Joanne Fisher says, when is the next podcast, Jack? It's an interesting, obviously we started this podcast with Steve Bland. Me, Steve and Craig do it. We do it every week. We record usually on a Tuesday and it goes out on a Wednesday. We did it a day earlier this week, but yeah, we'll be doing that every single week. And hopefully, because we've not been able to do this yet, hopefully next time we record, we'll be talking about Liverpool winning tonight, and of course at the weekend against West Ham. 2 huge games. I think 6 points is pivotal for us, and starting with tonight, it has to start tonight. We have to end this poor run of form. Last time we all watched Liverpool play Spurs, I think a lot of us thought that we were going to run away with it again. We saw that late Bobby goal, and Tottenham looked like our biggest threat to the title at that point in time. But a lot has changed since then. This has proven to be a topsy-turvy season, and that's why we should all try and remain positive, especially seeing that Manchester United result last night. If we can get 3 points tonight, that'll be so important. And all of a sudden, again, after a poor run of form, after poor results recently, we are back in the frame for the title. A lot of people asking how Milner is starting. As I said before, I honestly think it is probably a leadership thing in that midfield. A lot of people realising that we have missed Henderson in that midfield, and maybe Klopp feels as though we need a leader in there, and maybe Milner is the man for that. Some people talking about centre-backs and young centre-backs and who's ready and not ready. Quite simply, I think all centre-backs that we have in our youth setup, whether it's Billy Cometio, Reece Williams, Nat Phillips, who's obviously a bit older now, I think none of them are quite ready for the situation they've been thrown into, and it's none of their fault. They're just young, they're still developing, and they wouldn't be in this situation if we had a fully fit squad. Let's be honest, they'd be getting nowhere near the first team. So I think it was common sense for Liverpool to go into the market this January and sign a centre-back, but it doesn't look like this is going to happen, so we're going to have to hold put and stay put with the options that we do have, and hope that we can keep. I know I'm saying this after we know Fabinho has now picked up a knock, but we can keep Fabinho, Matip, Henderson as fit as possible for the rest of the season. So a lot of people suggesting who we could bring in. Pratham Sabai says bring in Kanate. CeeLo Blue says, what channel is the match on, Jack? I believe it's on BT Sports. I will check for you now, though. It is on BT Sports. It's on BT Sport 1. People asking why Henderson is at the back. JJ Cactus 0602, that is. Quite simply, mate, I'm not sure if you're aware, but we've got quite a few injury problems, and Fabinho, of course, is also injured as well and out of this game, and therefore Henderson is at the back with Joel Matip. I think a lot of people questioning the decisions to put Henderson at the back, but then they're the same people that seem to criticise, the likes of Reece Williams and Nat Phillips when they have an off game game like at the weekend in the FA Cup against United, for example, where I think Reece Williams was, a bit shaky and definitely showed his age in that game. Some people asking what the kickoff time is. It's 8 o'clock kickoff tonight. Team news came out at 7 o'clock. Mustafa Wage says Henderson is much better going forward. I would have rather seen Reece Williams and Henderson, Thiago, Milner in midfield. Fair enough, mate. But I think it's one of them situations where a lot of people would disagree with that. A lot of people got on the back of Reece Williams at the weekend. I think his pace at the back is a bit of an issue, especially with Tottenham, who are such a counter-attacking side. I personally thought he would have been okay tonight. He handled Kane well last game. But it's a lot of pressure to put on someone's shoulders, especially when we need to win as much as we do tonight. So I think going with Henderson and Matip is a good choice, and I'm happy with that. Fabinho's not injured, so Klopp's not had much choice. It was either go with Hendo at the back again, or go with Reece Williams or Nat Phillips, and I think it's the right choice. And I can see why we've gone for Milner too. I honestly believe it'll be a leadership reason. Somebody has put here, Mini CP has said, saw today that they decided on Konate over Upamecano. We definitely need a centre-back and a forward for more depth, and we need Naby back to be that strong box-to-box. I really like Naby. Yeah, we're missing Naby Keita too. Absolutely agree with that. But I think it's one of them. We're not the only team with injury problems this season. It just seems to be that every single game there's a new injury. Tonight it's Fabinho, and who will it be next game? Probably Joel Matip. But yeah, definitely a win is the most important thing tonight. But I think I think for me, the team news is a good one. It's a good team, and I'm confident going into the game. A few people still asking what's the team. Maybe they've just come on to this stream. The team is Alisson Becker in goal, Trent Alexander-Arnold right back, Robbo left back. Back to in centre back tonight is Henderson and Joel Matip. Then you've got Thiago, James Milner, Jorginho Wijnaldum, and then Salah, Bobby, and of course Sadio Mane. A big team. People asking what I think of Bruno Fernandes, and quite simply, he's a very, very good player. I have a bit of a Bruno agenda. Because he's a good player and he plays for Manchester United, but I don't think you can doubt that fella's ability. He's a bit of a stat padder. He does like his goals from the penalty spot and from a free kick, but you can't doubt his ability. He's turned Manchester United around with a pretty poor coach coaching him. So I think he's a very, very good player. There's so much chat about, obviously, it's quite negative in the chat about our centre backs, and Henderson playing alongside Matip, why we haven't gone into the transfer window and signed somebody in January. But I think it's one of them things. You've got to trust the process. I think it's also hard because Fabinho has been immense at the back since he's dropped in and played at the back. Henderson, there's a doubt over him whether he's as good when he's been put in the back four. But there was no doubt in Fabinho and how good his performances have been at the back for Liverpool. So yeah, it's one of them things. It's difficult right now, but hopefully we get through tonight. And the important thing is 3 points. I don't care how we do it. 3 points is the main thing tonight. Bernadette Farrell says, on a positive side, Hendo, Milner, and Thiago are all leaders and vocal on the pitch. Bernadette, absolutely. I honestly think that is the reason for tonight. I think it's get as many leaders on the pitch as possible. Let's get us out of this bad run of form. Let's get 3 points in the bag. We're going into a difficult period now of fixtures. And obviously an important period of fixtures. Let's pick up 3 points and let's get back in a run of winning games. That is the important thing. We need to get back to winning games. What is your opinion on Firmino's performances? Firmino, I think, has been hit and miss this season. I think he's been hit and miss since the start of lockdown and obviously when games started going behind closed doors. I think, quite simply, Liverpool are at their best when Firmino is at his best, and I think that's what we've missed in recent weeks. I think the same with Trent Alexander-Arnold. I think he's had a slight dip. It's not just Firmino. I think there's a lot of players in this starting lineup that have had a dip right now, but I think that's expected with games going behind closed doors, with the amount of hard work and effort they've put in over the 3 years. The fact that that season we just came second to City. They pushed so hard until the last game of the season. Then of course we won the Champions League. Then last season they did so well and pushed and bought us that first title in 30 years. So I think things like this can be expected. Somebody saying here, please no ticky-tacky tonight, be direct, straight on goal. Thank you. Cheers, Jeff. I think that's easier said than done, to be honest with you. So it'll be an interesting game. We know what's going to happen. We know exactly how Tottenham are going to set up. We know how Jose is going to set them up. And it's about breaking them down, making sure we're strong at the back and we don't allow them through on the counter-attack. They've got a few injuries themselves too. It's not just us. Tottenham are struggling too. But we know exactly how they're going to set up tonight. They're going to defend. They're going to try and hit us on the counter, and it's going to be one of them where we're going to have to be patient at times, but I think Thiago can be a very, very, very important piece of our puzzle tonight. We've got a few Spurs fans in the mentions, so yeah, hopefully you're not smiling after the game. Joanne Fisher says, missing our 12th man, so to speak, the cop. Absolutely, couldn't agree more. I think we're one of those sides that are missing the fans more than any other team. We know how electric Anfield is when it's full, and I honestly cannot see us losing that game to Burnley, and cannot see us losing that home record, especially not to Burnley like we did had there been fans in the stadium. So I think we are absolutely missing that. Jurgen Klopp, not the official one, but this guy asks, what kind of injury does Fabinho have that should make Liverpool buy a centre-back? Yeah, I saw things yesterday saying that Liverpool's stance has got better now that Matip's back fit again, but obviously typical Liverpool fashion, how it's been recently, we get a piece of good news and then we're shot back down with a piece of bad news, and Fabinho is injured again, and maybe this will make us move into the market over the next few days. Highly unlikely, but we can all hope and pray. But yeah, Fabinho, I saw on here earlier, apparently it's a minor fitness issue. It's not big, but we've heard that with Naby Keita before, haven't we? And Thiago, of course, too. So yeah, let's hope and pray that Fabinho is back for West Ham at the weekend, but I don't think there's much news right now. Let me know in the comments if that changes. Brendan says, hi Craig, hope your family are okay. Yeah, Craig's changed a bit. But yeah, he'll be on at 7:30 for the game. But this is for now. This is a different guy. This isn't Craig. But yeah, thank you for that. And yeah, Craig thinks that Hendo is a bad centre back. Put Tsimikas at left centre back. Listen, we're not the people who watch them train day in, day out, and that's all I'll say. Who knows what Tsimikas is like at left centre-back? I think, trusting Klopp, he's not exactly done much bad since he's moved to Liverpool, and he clearly thinks that Henderson is a good option at centre-back, and I think that's important to remember. So, yep, that is it for tonight. Remember, our sponsors, Boyle Sport, you can check them out down below in the description. Carry on commenting what you think about the team for tonight's game, and the Tottenham team as well. We've not had too many comments about that Tottenham side, so carry on letting us know what you think about that. Craig will be live on this channel from 7:30 to talk you through tonight's game and to watch it live with you, do a live watch along. But for now, that is me, and I shall see you very soon. Thank you very much. Ta-ra. Up the Reds.